The Washington Capitals have clinched a playoff spot in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. They're the first team to do so. They are leading by like a metric city mile than the Winnipeg over every other team. It's been an incredible year from the Caps. Describe in one word what Washington's season's been without making Washington fans mad.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. Just a phenomenal year. I mean, everybody is playing at such a high level. You see a guy like Dylan Strome, who Chicago, by the way, did an offer sheet. He's been a consistent 70-point scorer since leaving the Blackhawks with Washington. Connor McMichael lit it up. Alexi Protas has been unreal. And then the whole Ovechkin story. It's all in all been just an incredible year from Washington. And what's crazy is, too, all of those guys are relatively young, besides Ovechkin, obviously. And it shows that, like, this may not just be like a fluke of a season. Like, this might be like something we see moving forward with Washington.
Yeah. Now coming into the year, I think me more than you, had our doubts about Washington.
I did. But I wasn't saying that they were gonna do what they're doing right now. I had them just outside of the playoffs looking in, or just barely making it in. That's what I saw them as at best. To be honest, I just didn't know. Like, I think I even said, like, with all of those players that you meshed in together with all one another, it's hard to really gauge if that team's really just gonna go crazy right away.
And I don't mean to disrespect Washington or their fans, but like, you never know when a team like this could be a flash in the pan. This could be the real thing, though. Like, I'm gonna say this, I'm still not sold on Washington. Even after this whole season, I'm not sold.
You're not the only one. There are a lot of other people who are a little bit hesitant over the Caps, which Caps fans just say, "Oh, you're a hater," and that. It's not me being a hater. I'm just a little bit hesitant to go all in with a team that, after a couple of years of being meh, finally actually like pops off, and like all of a sudden they're a cup team. Like, I'm gonna put them in cup contender because they're first in the league. I think that's an easy thing to do. I would do that with any team that is first in the league. If Chicago was first in the league, I put them in cup contenders. We'd be living in a fantasy world. But I mean, like, again, like, I think that whenever you finish first in the NHL, and again, like, they're up there right now, whenever you see a team that absolutely balls out on the regular season when you didn't expect it, it just makes you a little bit worried about the playoffs, especially me. I think we've even brought it up, too, that, like...
Yeah, but, like, Washington, had a great year. They had a great goaltending. I think that's the number one thing to their success. They got great goaltending from Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah, absolutely. The tandem has been a huge positive. Thompson has lit it up this year after being solid in Vegas, came to Washington for like a second and a fourth or whatever, and has been absolutely unreal over there. I also think as well, noticing how Lindgren has, kind of from last year really had his breakout year to being that legitimate backup goaltender. They were both locked up to like a $9 million total contracts combined. I think that's very good value.
That's very good value. I think they got good value on the back end. Guys like Jacob Chikrin living up to his potential in Washington. And you have guys like Matt Roy playing good defensive hockey. And then you go to the nice forward core, the nice good forward that they added. You got Mangiapane in there. Some of the new additions include Brandon Duhaime. Then you have Strome. Like I said, Protas. He's not a new addition, but Protas is pretty good.
He's had his
the Michael breakout has been great to see. Tom Wilson hit 30 goals for the first time in his career.
Yeah, 100%. Who was I going to... Oh, Pierre-Luc Dubois has been somebody who has been a massive surprise. In his final year with LA, I remember talking about that year a lot because Dubois... Honestly, like, I remember that year where he had, like, the thing with Rob Blake, where, like, Rob Blake dressed up in King's gear and went out there and practiced with him. And last year he had 40 points in a full 82-game season, only 16 goals. He has 40 assists with Washington this year. He has more assists this season than he had points last year. That just shows how unreal of an acquisition he's been. since being a Washington Capital, and that was a huge risk at the time. I think people kind of forget that that was a massive risk that the Caps were taking. I mean, you trade away Kemper, who wasn't great under Washington and ended up being really good under LA, which I think that shows like that worked out as a really good deal. But at the time, it was a big risk for the Caps because you're getting a guy who was like a year into his 8-year deal at like how much money is he getting paid? Like 8.25 or something like that.
He's getting 8.5. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It really isn't that terrible now that the cap's going up and all that, but still, it was a massive risk at the time, and it's turned out into a massive reward for Washington. Like he's tied his career high in points, right now. So it's actually unreal how good Dubois has been.
Right situation. I think you look at the past. Like Dubois has been labeled as this lazy player. This year, I think he's really saying like I think he really like stepped his game up. I think. After being traded to Winnipeg, just showing he didn't really care, showing in LA like he didn't really care, and now I think getting traded really lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah, I think it definitely like really woke him up because I think there were even discussions of when he was traded, like this is your last shot. Like if like you went from Columbus where you had that lazy effort to Winnipeg where you had that lazy effort to LA where you had that lazy effort. This is your last shot. Your last final shot to prove yourself in the NHL. Otherwise, it might be a difficult path for you moving forward. And this year, he's really proven that to himself. And I mean, like again, I'm not going to say that like, Dubois has been this like incredible acquisition and will be moving forward. Like again, I think that as a whole, I think for Dubois, he's likely. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's still 6 years left on that contract after this year, so we really can't say like for certain that he's going to be good all of those years. But at least in this year, he's been very good. I also want to mention he has 61 points. Only 10 of them are on the power play, so he's a very good 5v5 scorer.
Yeah, that's good. In the playoffs, you're going to need that because exactly. Scoring is very important in this league. Yeah, I think Washington. I think it's an effort that everybody just clicked at the right time.
100%. And the team is it just looks like the team is absolutely rolling. We talked about at the Four Nations break where they had no players going to the Four Nations and all those guys could rest up and they could get ready for the playoffs. And it seems like that's the path that we're going down right now. But again, with every first place team you see, there is that worry. And to be honest with you, like I think in terms of like you look at the Eastern Conference, it feels like to me I think they definitely get to the second round. Like they're going to play one of Montreal, Columbus, Detroit, the Rangers. Like I think they absolutely plow any of those teams in my opinion. I mean, maybe the Rangers put up a fight or I'm not saying that like all those teams are going to lose, but I'm not ruling out the possibility of an upset, but I think that they easily get past the first round. Second round, they likely play Carolina. I don't know. I mean, if they get past Carolina, then they probably play one of Florida or Tampa. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that it's not impossible for Washington to go on a crazy run, but I'm not leaning on them as like my number one cup.
I'm putting their ceiling, honestly, at the conference finals. I think they can get to the conference finals. I think they can. I don't think they're going to get to the final though.
I think they can make the finals. I think a lot of it's going to come into depth and rest. Like, are they going to have the depth offensively and the guys on the blue line to push your way through those rounds? I think they can get to the finals. I have no doubt in my mind.
I also believe in the President's Trophy curse.
I believe in that too, and that is why. I mean, to be honest, they still haven't officially won the thing yet.
It's them and Winnipeg fighting for control, and I feel Washington's going to just take it.
Yeah, I think Washington's likely going to be the team that ends up taking it. And to be honest, if you're the Jets and you see that curse is there, I think you're like, hey, go ahead, take it. It's all yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I don't want to say that like they're going to lose in the first round and all this. There's been people who've been saying that. I'm not ruling it out because I'm not ruling anything out at this point. But I think it's more likely than not that they at least get to the second round, maybe the third round.
I think Washington has a shot. They definitely have a shot. They have a pretty good shot, but they're also, and they're very upset they could get upset though. I'm not gonna say they're like we saw a Boston team that was the best regular season team ever not knock it out of the first round,
And that's the best part about the playoffs. Anything can happen.
So I'm gonna say this, if they bump into a team like Montreal, who right now, if you look at Montreal's playing, Montreal's hot. They're hot. The Rangers will give them trouble. If Ottawa somehow falls down to that second round, they're going to give them trouble too. I feel. It's not easy. I feel like Washington comes out on top in the first round, but like it's whoever gets it. It's not going to be it isn't going to be a sweep or a 5-game series.
I doubt it. I mean, I'm not saying that that's impossible. Like, again, like any team can get upset. I don't want to I'm not coming on here and saying, oh, they're going to get upset because they suck.
No, I'm not saying that either.
But I am a little bit concerned. Just a little bit. I'm not fully going in and being like, oh, they'll lose in the first round. If they play Montreal or any of those teams, I'm picking Washington.
Yeah, no, if they play Montreal, I'm picking Washington, but I'm saying there's a chance there. I want to put this very, very, very delicately Nordic. History will always repeat itself.
You're not
A couple
wrong.
years ago, I mean, this is like more than 10 years ago now, Montreal was an 8 seed, and they played the President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals, and they won the series in 7 games.
Yeah, anything is possible. Absolutely. So again, I'm not worried if I'm Washington. I think again, like they could easily prove us wrong. We'll look at this video and be like, man, we're idiots because we had a lot of videos like that on this.
We've been saying this for a while though. We've been saying we're cautious about Washington. I think since January.
Yeah, I mean, I am cautious about them, but I'm not afraid to still pick them to go far in the playoffs. I'm still not afraid. And I think what is cool about them too is like they have a bright future for years to come.
Ryan Leonard, Cole Hudson.
Yeah, Tariq Parasak, a couple of the guys on that roster. Ilya Protas as well. Alexei Protas is young. Like, I mean, the overall core that they've built now, like, I mean, Ovechkin, he's old. He's an oldie. John Carlson, old. Who else is on that team that has been
up there in age?
Tom Wilson, getting up there in age. I mean, apart from those guys, like, the core is still relatively young. And I think that is a huge benefit there for Washington, seeing them play at this level. And I think that shows that for the next couple of years to come, like, they went from a team that, like, really didn't look like they had a great future to a team that now has, like, a solid future for the next, I would say, at least 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years, yeah. Washington, here's the thing. This could be the start of something great, or this could be another tale of, damn, we couldn't get over the hump. It goes 2 roads there. It's either going to be, damn, we didn't go over the hump in the first 2 rounds, or we have a potential dynasty.